Hi, Richard Smith here from the Finance Zone. Today I want to talk to you about pension drawdown or pension income drawdown plans which you may or may not have in your current pension portfolio. We've seen some evidence over recent months in relation to these pension income drawdown plans, and the facts are that they are very often not fully understood, and there are some important maths about these plans which are also not fully understood. The sort of plan we're talking about here is the arrangement where you would get to your selected retirement age. You would be given an option to either purchase an annuity, which is a fixed income for life, or to have some more flexible pension options, whereas you can take some tax-free cash to do what you want to do with, and the balance of the fund is then left invested until you require it. Now, these plans have been widely sold by both independent and tied advisors in the marketplace, but very often the full story is not explained with these plans. One of the things that are vitally important you understand is the level of charges. These are very often fixed initially in the region of 6%. These are typical charges. There are some higher charging firms out there in the marketplace, which is unfortunate. There are also some lower charging firms in the marketplace, but we're just going to cover typical costs here because we just don't have the time to go through each individual contract. So the charges initially are in the region of 6%. There are also annual charges which could be as high as 2%. Again, we've seen some higher and some lower. That's per annum, by the way, not a one-off. And there are also scheme charges which are either fixed and at a fixed amount. Typical rates are in the region of £200 per annum, or 0.75% of the value of your pension pot. Now, as I mentioned, these are typical charges, and there's no hard and fast rules as to what a pension company can charge. It's left up to the market for them to decide. So what does it mean to you in relation to these charges? Well, the value of the effective charges will dramatically reduce your pension pot, but more importantly, the future returns may not make up for the higher charges that are being levied on the plan. And all the time you're not taking an income from your fund, you're losing out on a double whammy situation, because quite simply you end up with higher charges and a loss of income. If you're not taking the pension not taking an income from the pot, then you're losing out on that income, because the rest of it is going to be eaten up in charges, and trust me on this one, a lack of investment returns or lack of performance. So let's look at a typical situation: £100,000 pension. You get to retirement, and you've got a £100,000 pension pot. You're going to take pension tax-free cash of £25,000, and then you'll be left with £75,000, which comes into your pension drawdown pot. Oh, I've seen a typo in there. Never mind, that'll have to stay. Which leaves you £75,000 invested into your pension drawdown plan. Initial charges on that are going to be £4,500 at 6%. Annual charges are going to be in the region of £562. There runs an annual charge, and plus the annual management charge, which is normally a fixed amount. Ballpark is 2%, which is going to be £1,500 per annum. So we're left with total charges over a 4-year period, which is 11%, which is the annual charges, plus the initial charge, brings it up to shockingly 17%, or 4.25% per annum, which is why it's vitally important you get a grip on the way these charges are put together. More importantly, the average fund has returned 5.25%, and this is the 5-year annual return, and the source of that was Pensions World, which means the average pension fund has returned 5.25%. The 5-year return, and the source of that information is Pensions World, which leaves you with 1% per year returns. That's 1% off. If you've got an average performing fund, less charges, you're going to be getting 1% per year. The big problem, of course, is that's not the true story, because the true story is that you're also missing out on income, because you're not taking an income from the pot, which you could be achieving had you purchased an annuity or considered other forms of investment. If you're a male age 57, that level of income from the £75,000 pot could be as high as £364 per month. Multiply that over a 4-year period, that's £17,472 you have missed out on. Now that income is lost, never to recover. It equates to 23% of the initial investment. So if we look at the other angle, we've got a pension pot which you're not taking an income from that's got relatively high charges being levied to it. More importantly, you're missing out on £17,000 worth of income typically over a 4-year period. Now the reality is, of course, if you've got one of these contracts, there's a good chance that that would have not been explained to you in that way. But that is the reality of it. Income drawdown may not be what you think it is. If you've got one of these plans, you need to get yours reviewed, and you need to consider very, very carefully your options. There's more information on our websites, which is www.thefinancezone.co.uk and www.beyourownpensionadvisor.co.uk, or you can call me on 0845 226 9106. Thanks very much for your time. Thanks very much for listening. So the whole object of this video was just to give you a very, very quick idea of what it is you potentially have, and to outline some of the considerations you really need to have if you're going to continue moving forward with it. My name is Richard Smith. If you have any queries or questions, you can contact me through the websites, and I certainly look forward to hearing from you.